What is up, everybody? Welcome back to 5 Minute Movie Reviews. I'm your host, Luke Smith. Guys, I'm really excited to be back making 5 Minute Movie Reviews. It's been a while. It's been like 3 or 4 weeks since my last video, which was Mortal Kombat, which, guys, that video did very well, so thank you, of course, for reviewing that. I really appreciate it. Now, guys, the movie we're going to be talking about today is a very special one. It's a movie that's been long delayed because of the stupid pandemic, and it's finally getting a chance to come out in theaters, and that is A Quiet Place Part 2. Now, to give you a little bit of background on the first film, Quiet Place 1 came out in 2018. It was written and directed, and I believe he had a part in the editing, and he also starred in it. This is, of course, John Krasinski that I'm talking about. Very talented guy. If you all just know him as Jim from The Office, then you all need to realize that he is very talented. So, he returned to write and direct the sequel, thank goodness. Now, his character, spoiler alert, died at the end of the first movie, which was pretty rough. You know, I mean, he was a pretty cool character, and more Krasinski is always better. But I will say that Emily Blunt takes center focus in this film. His wife, he played his wife in the first movie, and his wife in real life, actually. And I gotta be right up front with you guys. I was a little bit worried going into this because I had seen some early reviews that were positive, but they said this isn't as good as the first film. And, you know, I didn't expect it to be as good as that first film because the original Quiet Place is one of my favorite horror movies. It'd probably be in my top 15 of all time. If I ever did get around to making like a top 20 or something, it would definitely be in there. And I have to say, guys, that A Quiet Place Part 2 is just as good as the first movie. And when the first movie is as good as it is, that's impressive. This movie is fantastic. Easily the best horror movie that I've seen in a couple years, I'd have to say. The Lodge kind of took that spot after I saw Midsommar. I liked Midsommar, then I liked The Lodge more, and now this is definitely my favorite horror film as of late. Very good movie. John Krasinski's direction, I'll just go ahead and talk about that. It is so on point in this movie. This movie's beautifully directed. The first film, you know, you could kind of tell that he was getting his feet wet in directing and stuff. It was well directed, but you know, it wasn't as polished as this film is. But this movie, cinematography looks great, the direction looks great, and there's quite a bit of action sequences, a lot more than the first film. There's a lot of still slow suspense moments, and this movie is very quiet, obviously, because they have to stay quiet so they don't get brutally killed by these monsters. And the action sequences are very well handled. Everything is in camera, in focus. You can see everything that's happening. No stupid shaky cam or quick cut, choppy editing. It's very well done. Also, the characters. Like I said, Emily Blunt is fantastic in this movie, again, as the mother. She takes kind of more of a central role. But the real main character in this film is actually their daughter, played by Millicent Simmons, a deaf actress who, of course, is reprising her role from the first film. And she is absolutely fantastic. She's given a lot to do here. A lot of the emotional weight of the story falls on her shoulders. And when I kind of saw that that was the direction that they were going to take, I was a little worried at first because she's a very good actress. But I didn't know if she could fully carry a film, and she did. She was fantastic. Also, probably my favorite character in both of these movies now is a new addition to this movie, is the character of Emmett, played by Cillian Murphy, who, I'm a big Cillian Murphy fan. He's one of those guys who, if you're in the film community, you know who he is. If you're not, and you're just kind of a casual film watcher, you could be like, oh, he's Scarecrow from Batman Begins. Guys, he's a lot more than that. He's such a great actor, classically trained British actor, actually. And he's fantastic in this movie. When I saw him in the promotional material for this film, I didn't think he was going to be featured as heavily as he was, but he's one of the main characters. And I love his character. They get you to like him very early on. They give a lot of depth to him, all the tragedy that he's faced. And he's a highlight of the movie. He's probably, like I said, my favorite character in both of these films now. Guys, there's not much more to say about this movie. Everything that I loved about the first movie carries right over into this one. All I really have to say is that the opening 10 minutes of this film, which I'll go ahead and spoil it, is a prequel, kind of shows how the apocalypse started, how these monsters came to Earth. You've probably seen it. It's in all the trailers. And it's mind-blowingly good. Like, it's the best opening to a film easily this year, maybe even last year. So, guys, like I said, I obviously highly recommend this movie. I can't really think of any flaws with this movie at all, actually. And this might sound crazy, but I'm going to give A Quiet Place Part 2 a 10 out of 10. Guys, thank you always for watching. Sorry about the long break. But we've had some podcast episodes come out to tide you all over. Make sure to check those out, talking about the DCEU films with Isaac Williamson. We got a lot of stuff coming at you all very soon, including more 5-minute movie reviews. I will see you all later. Bye.